So I'm part of the men's group, Integrated Men, great group. And I think once a month we do Saturday workshops. And this latest one was about values. So basically, it's determining what your core values are, but your core values, like the ones that are inside me, not ones that I've adopted through society or religion or family or anything like that. They're not ones that have been thrust upon me. They are ones that reside within me and probably always have. And a lot of mental distress, like anxiety, depression, things like that, come from not living in alignment with your personal values. And most people don't even know their personal values. I mean, I had guesses, but it's not something I had purposefully sat down and figured out before. So the workshop was super helpful. Yeah, anyway, these are, I think there's 8 of them, but these are my core values. So the top one on my list was, well, there were a few words for it. There's self-reliance, freedom, independence. I'm going to go with independence. That's super important to me. It's always been very, very important to me I like other people. I am social. I understand that in a certain sense, we all need each other, but it's very important to me to look out for myself. Not sure if this comes from, it might come from, a little bit of insecurity, but I look out for number one, and I don't like getting told what to do. And I do what I want. The next core value, big one, is discipline. So everything that I've ever accomplished in life, albeit not that much of accomplishments, but I mean, I've done some stuff, and everything that I'm currently working on, it's all thanks to discipline. Basically, discipline is doing what you have to do, even if it's not what you want to do. Another way of saying it is doing the hard things first, taking the hard road instead of the really hard road that looks like the easy road, doing what makes you happy instead of doing what you want. There's a lot of words for it, but basically it means doing things that I know are good for me, that have good long-term benefits, rather than seeking instant gratification. And this is a huge one for me. Everything I'm working on, everything I've ever done that's positive, I owe it to discipline. And discipline is something I'm very proud of, and it's something that I work a lot on, and it's something that I will continue to work on. But to me, this is huge. This is like one of the main building blocks of everything, is discipline. Another one is fun. This is one of my core values, and it's a little bit weird to have as a core value, but it is one. And the way that I look at it is that everything I do, I try to enjoy it. Even if it's not necessarily something that's enjoyable right on the surface, like going to the gym or working like I am right now, but I always try to find ways to make things fun, or at least tolerable, that I'm doing. On a really long drives at work, listening to fun audiobooks or singing along to music, Just stuff like that. Everything I do, I try to find a way to enjoy it. Or at least enjoy it more than hating it. And coupled with discipline, I think this is really helpful to me because I'm doing things that aren't necessarily immediately gratifying, but I'm trying to find ways to enjoy them in the moment anyway. Doesn't always work, but when it does, it's a good thing. All right, to round out my top 4 personal core values. Started out with independence, then went discipline, then fun, and last but definitely not least on my top 4 is growth. So this means that I'm constantly trying to, well, grow, improve myself, learn new things, get in better shape, do better financially, socially, just whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to get better at it. You know, playing music, whatever it is, and with life, personality, everything in general, I'm trying to grow. And it ties in very much to discipline because growth requires work and work requires discipline. So, yeah, ties in perfectly. Anyway, those are my top 4 core values: independence, discipline, fun, and growth. The next one is responsibility. So this means kind of ties into independence because a big part of it is me taking care of myself, paying my bills, doing what I say I'm gonna do, showing up on time, putting my best foot forward, not being a parasite to society or anybody else, carrying my own weight, just all that stuff is responsibility to me. And this also ties into responsibility for the consequences of my actions. I do my best, although my best fails sometimes, but I do my best to never complain, especially about things outside my control and complaining about the consequences of my own actions. Because, yeah, it is what it is. You do something, you get a consequence for it, good or bad, and you accept it without complaining about it. So, one of my big pet peeves is complaining a lot, whining, and that's a good reason why responsibility is one of my core values. Another one that I have that ties into discipline and growth and responsibility, I guess, too, is health. Health is extremely important to me. Whether it be eating correctly, personal hygiene, I could work on that one. Let's see. Oh yeah, and especially, being in good physical shape. Basically, being in good, tip-top physical shape is the end goal of health. The working out, the eating right, and not only tip-top physical shape, but mental shape and spiritual shape as well, because all three kind of tie into each other. Health is health. It's a holistic thing, and it's all very important to me. Finding ways to learn about myself and ways that I can be more mentally fit, going to the gym or walking or doing whatever else to be more physically fit, and trying to do things like understand my core values so that I can be spiritually fit. It all ties into health. Another one that might not sound on the surface like a core value, but to me it is nature. Nature is extremely important to me. It's my happy place, and I try to be in it as much as possible. So just now I was on lunch and pulled over, little ways off the beaten path to stop at a park by a lake so I could sit down in the grass, just sit my ass right in the grass, right along by the lake, and eat my lunch. And, it was 15 minutes, but that 15 minutes, was just, I got up and just felt better and looked around at the sun and the ducks and the water and grass and trees and just felt better. And nature to me is just, it's where I belong, and it is one of my core values. Last but not least, number 8 on the list is simplicity. And this is probably the core value that I need to work the most on, because it's almost at odds with some of my other values, and I'm still trying to square that circle, because growth and discipline and responsibility in the modern world, it can be very complicated. All the different things you have to do and worry about and take care of, taxes and rules and registration and emails and social obligation, just everything that goes along with getting ahead and growing in life tends to not be simple anymore. And I'm still working on squaring this circle because I haven't quite figured it out yet. But I do know that the complexity of the modern world really, really, really bothers me. And if I can at some point but because it's not going backwards, but improve myself to the point where I can live more simply, that's one of the main goals of my life. But right now I'm not doing a very good job of it. I'm talking like living, in a shack out in the woods. That simple. To me, that's simplicity. Or just not having to worry about 16 different investments and working this job and trying to start this business and that business, just pay this bill, that bill, just to get by. If I can just get to a point where I can cut almost all the aspects of modern life that make it modern out of my life, it would be great. But like I said, this is the one that I am not living in accordance with the most. So I've got to figure this one out. Simplicity. Anyway, those are my 8 core values. The 4 big ones are independence, discipline, fun, and growth. Those are the 4 main ones. And I do a very good job of staying on top of those, which is why I think mentally I'm so stable. It's because I'm living in accordance with most of my core values. Like, I don't have a whole lot of inner turmoil or inner conflict because I don't. I just don't have the conflict because I'm not conflicting with things. It's that simple. Anyway, Those are my top 4. Then there's responsibility, there's health, and there is nature and simplicity. And simplicity is the one that I am needing the most work on. But anyway, yeah, those are my top 8 values, and you can look online, find a list of core values, and try to figure yours out for yourself.